Hey everyone, this is Paul Bertorelli reporting for AvWeb. We are about 5 weeks out from Sun and Fun 2021. With me is Lites Leenhouts of Sun and Fun. Lights, we're getting ready to get the show kicked off. Where do we stand with things like expected exhibitors, level of attendees, and the planned air show and that sort of thing?
Well, Paul, it's great news to pass along. We're all systems go. First of all, most importantly, we have approval from the state of Florida, from our Polk County leadership in the city of Lakeland and the airport. They're all in full support of putting on the fly-in this year, 13 to 18 April. And the reason they're doing that is because we all conferred together with our COVID policies to ensure the safety of our guests, our volunteers, everybody's health and well-being is our number one priority. We obviously we want to have the fly-in, but we got to do it smart, we got to do it safe, and we got to do it with the customer's safety in mind. Having said that, it looks like we're going to have a fly-in very similar to what we probably saw in the early 2000s. So our attendance is going to be down a little bit from the last 5 or 6 years as we've grown it back, but not substantial. Our ticket sales right now, advanced ticket sales are on par with 2020 before the COVID hit. So we're really about where we normally would be. Exhibitors, on the other hand, they all want to be here, but some of the bigger companies, policies don't allow them to travel yet. So normal year, we'd have 500 exhibitors out there that are aviation related. This year, we're going to be around 385 to 390. So we're down between 20 and 22%. And we expected a 25% drop, but we're really holding a little bit better than that. Our plan for all the forums and the workshops is still in play, except there'll probably be less participation because we'll be spreading the people out in those tents. We're requiring that if you're in any enclosure, you have a mask on. We know that works. We have a cleaning crew that's going to clean every evening and deep clean, and major touch points will be cleaned every hour, on the hour, that kind of thing. Social distancing will be paramount. You'll have to have a mask to get into the event, and then we will ask that you wear it as appropriate. Now, the law in Florida doesn't require that you have a mask on outside when you're social distancing. And we're pretty much 2,000 acres and people are going to spread out. It'll be just fine. But when you're in a close conversation with somebody, you need to have a mask on. When you go into the exhibit halls, most of the exhibitors want you to wear a mask when you're conversing with them on their product. So the way it works is we're going to request that you wear it appropriately. You'll be required to get in with it on, and then hopefully you'll wear it in the right locations when you can't social distance.
So if you're getting about 80% of the regular exhibitors, what will those hangars look like? Will they be more spread out?
Yes, sir. We're not going to realign the hangars. We're just going to have spaces in there where exhibitors would have been but are not. So we're asking the exhibitors, if they don't feel comfortable, they can put up plexiglass. Most of them have walls from one exhibit to the other. They put up the pipe and drape, and that's just fine. So literally, it's an exhibitor's mask, if you will, that protects that area. It's only the front side where people walk by that if they want to put plexiglass between them and a potential buyer, then that's their choice. We're not going to provide that for them, or nor do we require it. That is an option that the exhibitor has to exercise. But we will require you to have that mask to come into the building, and hopefully you will keep it on. Now, we're not going to have the mask police going around throwing people out if they don't have it on. We will be asking you to wear it appropriately. We're all adults. We all want to enjoy this event. And the only way it's going to work is if we all follow the policies. I just had a meeting this morning with all the staff and volunteers. And if you're not in your office by yourself on our campus right now, you've got a mask on. Unless, of course, you're outside on your bicycle like I ride around all day long and I'm not wearing it there. But once I get close to somebody, well, if I'm within 10 feet, I've got a mask on. Everybody does, every volunteer, every staff member.
Has Polk County set any restrictions or requirements?
No, sir. What we're imposing right here are just recommendations that we think are going to make sure we don't end up being some kind of a spreader of sorts. We just had over in Hillsborough County, the Super Bowl just took place. No problem. Everybody wore a mask. Now, what they do know is, this infection, this virus, doesn't transmit on surfaces as much as we thought it did, but it does transmit from the micro biological excretions from your lungs. That's where it does come from. So a mask is paramount to stop you from spreading it. And we're going to, advise people with signs everywhere to wear the mask and to wash your hands. Of course, that helps, obviously. But at the end of the day, the mask is the number one priority for people to be safe.
On the website, it says you're going to limit the number of attendee registrations. Is that still true?
Right. Yes, sir. And that applies to in the exhibit halls, in the forum tents, in the workshop areas. We'll be probably around 2/3 capacity just for the social distancing possibilities that it creates. And at the gate, we'll monitor the crowd so that we don't exceed something on the order of about 30,000 people a day. That's about the most we can handle. So once we get to that, there's not going to be any more people let in until people start leaving. And quite candidly, I don't think, as much as I would love to envision this giant mass of humanity coming out for our event, it's not going to happen. We know that. Let's face it, the economy has taken a hit. There are people out of work. There's companies that closed up, and aviation is a hobby. And it's a work for a lot of us, but most of the people look at it as a luxury, and it's discretionary cash to come to an aviation event. So there are people that are going to protect their money, and they may choose to go to Air. If you have a choice between Sun and Fun and Air Venture, well, of course you're going to go to Air Venture. I would do the same thing. It's bigger and it's a great event, and we all appreciate that. So we know that there are people that normally would come that are not going to, and the general public probably won't come out in the same numbers as we would typically see on the weekends in the past. So even though we're going to put a limit on it, I doubt we'll ever get to the limit.
Well, in a good year, say in 2019, what was it, 50,000 a day?
We would have over the 6 days, it would ramp up. Obviously, the first couple of days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, mostly fly-in traffic. And then you got into Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which is more of a general public day, we would see on the order of 180,000 people come through here in a 6-day period. And so you just can imagine it would ramp up from maybe 15 to 20 on Tuesday, and then 30, and then 40, 50, 60, all the way to the end.
Okay. And how about airplane camping?
Airplane camping is going to be as normal. Obviously, you social distance out there because of the wingspan of the aircraft. So that works out really well. In our campsites, that takes care of itself as well. We don't really jam them in there. They're not side by side with only 10 feet between RVs. They typically have about 30 feet between RVs. So, and the campsites, the small tents, there's plenty of room out there. The only thing that we're really going to do this year that's probably most noticeable is that we're not going to have any evening events per se. There's not big, large gatherings of people. We just the other day decided that it's probably not a good idea to bring 1,500 of our volunteers together on Sunday night for a post-event thank you party. We call it the Tail Dragger, and that's probably not a good idea. So we're not going to do that. Even though it's outside on our pavilion, it's still a lot of people in a small area. So we're going to be good citizens, and we'll show thanks in other ways, but we won't have that party on Sunday night. And a lot of the lunches that would normally happen, they won't happen either.
And as far as extraordinary efforts, you've got additional sanitization for the porta potties and for the showers, and we'll make masks available according to the website.
Correct. That is all true. And we're looking now at hiring a company to come in and add another layer to our volunteers who are cleaning, so that we don't miss an area to ensure that the sanitization is working well. Right now, starting yesterday, actually, We saw that our friends over in Plant City, just to the west of us, they're having what they call Strawberry Fest, and they'll have thousands of people just like we do every day coming into their big event for 10 days. And one of the things they're using that we're looking into is a fogger that you walk through, if you will, like a TSA entryway to be checked for any kind of harmful objects. Well, this doesn't check you. This just sprays a mist that's sort of a sanitization mist that's supposed to linger on with you all day long. It's sort of like, I guess you call it a Lysol aerosol sort of thing. We're just looking at how that works over there. We haven't decided, but we're going to look at it. And we've looked at everything, all the other big events that have successfully done what they've used. So we're replicating successful policies.
Will the pedestrian flow look any different?
No, sir, it won't. They'll be coming through the main gate. Obviously, we're going to, at the main entrance, where people will be lining up to buy tickets if they haven't already gotten them, we're going to ask people to separate out there, have a mask on, and you're going to separate by 6 feet. And then it'll just go a little further into the parking lot is all, but it's not going to be jammed up. People won't be huddled up all trying to fight their way up to get a ticket. They'll be spread out, and all the ticket windows will be open. We'll have every single one will be open for purchasing, so we can keep the flow of people going.
Yeah, so I expect they'll be expected to distance in those lines as best they can.
Exactly. And we'll have people out there that'll be walking along saying, hey, could you back it up a little bit, please? You're going to get your ticket, same length of time. Just give yourself a little room. That's all we're asking.
How about the food court?
It'll be wiped down. Tables will be spread out. And the goal is that every hour or so, as people get up and move from move away, we'll have a team in there that'll wipe the table down. The serving areas, the servers will be handing it to you. You're not going to be picking it up on your own. So we'll ensure that only the gloved hands, the servers are masked, or they've got a face shield on, and they will have barriers up there. So we're not going to let people breathe on somebody else's food.
And how about
you'll have a mask on till you sit down at the table.
And how about the air show?
Air show is right on schedule. It's 1 to 5 every day. It might end up at around 4:30 on some days. It's going to be Tuesday through Sunday. And the Blue Angels, the only time it's going to be a little different is on Thursday. The Blue Angels will be arriving, and they own pretty much from noon to 4. And we'll have a little break in there for some warbird flying. But Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday are going to look like all the normal fly days. Obviously, this year, we've got the Blue Angels with the Super Hornet, and nobody's seen it. They were supposed to go to Jacksonville the weekend before us, but that's been canceled. So we will be the first inaugural Super Hornet Blue Angel demo, which is great. We're thrilled for that. And when we announced that, our social media activity went up exponentially into the tens of thousands, and okay, that's good. But all the rest of the acts are going to be there. None of the performers have said they won't come because of COVID. They're all anxious to be here. And I think it's a lot to do with the policies we put in place. We're going to ensure their safety. They'll be wearing masks in the briefs and before they go to the airplane. So everything is in play to ensure that we have got, our number one priority is the safety of all of our guests.
Same number of air show acts typically?
Pretty much, yes, sir. I wouldn't say it's any more, any less. It's about 4 hours a day. A couple of times in the last few years, we've only been about 3 hours or so. One of the things that we're factoring into this year's show is we have Amazon on site. So Amazon's doing about 8 flights, 8 arrivals, and then 8 takeoffs associated with the aircraft. And they'll be fit right in with everybody else, just like we'd have a C-130 or a 141 or, any other large jet. But during the flight, normally we don't have those people fly in during the actual air show, but now they're going to. So we'll take a 5 or 7 minute break, and we factored that in for an Amazon 767 or a 757 to come in, land, and then get off the runway and then go back into our air show. It'll be part of the show, actually. We're talking to Amazon about getting them on the radio, might even make a low pass down the runway. I mean, it's part of the excitement of aviation. It's just a big jet.
Okay. What else have we missed? Anything else to mention here?
No, I don't think so. I think you pretty much covered it. Our goal here is to have a successful fly-in. And we talked about this long and hard with all the other events that are canceling around us. We said, wait a minute, we can do this smart. We're all adults. The aviation community are good men and women. They know how to handle themselves. And if you give them procedures and recommendations on how to stay safe, they're going to follow those. And we'll all come out of this on the other end having had a great experience. And okay, so a lot of your selfies are going to be with the mask on. All right, it'll be funny. Wear a decorative mask of some kind and make it enjoyable. But it's the new world order for right now. And by golly, we're going to have this fly-in and make sure everybody goes home the same way they got here, and they don't call us up and go, oh, I don't feel so well. We don't want that. If you don't feel well, don't come here. And if you're feeling good, make sure that you stay feeling good all week long and go home safe, happy, and healthy.
Okay, it sounds good. All of this is well described in detail on the website, and here's the URL for that. I'll put that on the screen. And we hope to see you there. I'll be there for part of the show. And Lites Leenhouts, I appreciate your giving us the update.
Absolutely, Paul. Thank you all very much for sharing this with everybody, and look forward to seeing you here on the 13th of April through the 18th.
It's Paul Bertorelli reporting for AvWeb. Thanks for watching.